Hello and welcome, curious minds. Have you ever wondered why you just can't bring yourself to get rid of that old, unused exercise machine gathering dust in your basement? Or why we squeeze our schedules so tight, with no breathing room for unexpected events? Well, your puzzle-solving prayers have been answered because today, we're diving headfirst into a fascinating list of mental models that will explain our quirky behavior. Mental models are the cogs of your decision-making process, quietly shaping your thoughts and choices behind the scenes. But fear not, because we're about to pull back the curtain and look at these parts that could probably use a bit of a spit shine. We've got an all-star lineup: sunk cost fallacy, the law of diminishing returns, margin of safety, and multiplying by zero. Think of them as the Avengers of mind mechanics. But before we launch into this mind-altering journey, be sure to perform the ritual of clicking the magical red subscribe button below. Why, you ask? When you do, an algorithmic pixie gets its wings, and you ensure a steady supply of top-notch brain food to more people. Digital karma. And while you're in a clicking mood, you should check out our previous 2 videos on mental models. I mean, you wouldn't build a house starting with the roof, would you? Let's get that solid foundation down, my cerebral architects. The links for this trilogy's previous 2 videos are in the description box below. Now that we've got all the pleasantries out of the way, let's wade into deeper waters. Our first process on the list of mental models is the sunk cost fallacy. This sneaky concept tricks us into believing we're making rational choices when, in reality, we're chasing after lost causes. It's the twisted logic that the more we invest in something, the harder it becomes to abandon it. The term sunk cost was stolen from the economics world. It refers to any past investment that can't be recovered. The money's gone, sunk. Let's whip out a real-world example for you. Have you committed to a gym membership as part of a New Year, New Me resolution, only to realize that you'd rather swim in a pool of piranhas than step foot on a treadmill? Yet you persist and keep paying because maybe one day you'll go. Nah, cancel the membership and find a more appealing way to stay active. To avoid this deceitful dance, introduce a joy audit for your commitments. If it's causing more pain than biting into an undercooked Brussels sprout, it's time to let it go. This audit is flexible enough to liberate you from all sorts of soul-sucking endeavors, but I use it primarily for media consumption. If a book or movie isn't gripping after 50 pages or 30 minutes, I give myself permission to quit. That's time in my life I get back to do something else. Remember that yesterday's decisions don't need to be today's shackles. Now that we've come to terms with the painful reality that not all past investments guarantee a shiny future, it's time to move down our list of mental models. Next up is a closely knit cousin of the sunk cost fallacy, something we affectionately call the law of diminishing returns. This law has a flair for showing up just when you thought, oh, the more, the merrier. Spoiler alert, not always. The law of diminishing returns also hails from the glamorous world of economics with a simple message. Beyond a certain point, every extra input starts delivering less bang for your buck. If you traipse down to the 18th and 19th centuries with me, we'll find some of the world's earliest economists. The origins of the law of diminishing returns are a bit tangled, with several minds contributing, so let's skip the who said it first debate. One of these trailblazers, David Ricardo, gave voice to this law through the lens of agriculture. Picture Britain, 1815, under the shadow of the Corn Laws. These tariffs protected local crops by inflating foreign corn prices to a king's ransom. Yet Ricardo is skeptical. He argues that we're overworking our lands, squeezing them like a miserly landlord, while bountiful foreign cornfields wave in the wind. He paints a picture of tired soil and dwindling crop yields. His solution? Do away with the corn laws. After all, who would choose to drain their homeland when a cornucopia lies across the sea? This insight, along with the work of other economists, laid the foundation for what we now know as the law of diminishing returns. How might that look if we scooch back over to the modern world? Say you're a coder trying to squash that elusive bug in your software. You've been at it for hours, and you're determined not to leave until it's done. But after hours of non-stop work, your focus dwindles and you start hallucinating semicolons. Each additional hour spent glaring at the screen now only escalates your frustration and decreases your code quality. The law of diminishing returns is telling you it's time to step away from the screen before you start dreaming in Java. A countermeasure to this law? The power of a pause. If you find yourself stuck on a task, take a break. Grab a cup of tea, do some stretches, or walk around the block. You'll often find that you're more productive after the break. In my experience, the answer usually reveals itself once I let my subconscious have a whack at it in peace. It can be challenging for me to get into this habit though, because when I'm in that tense and desperate thinking space of one more minute will finally give me the answer I'm looking for, the last thing I want to do is stop. One strategy that has worked for me is leveraging the Pomodoro technique to weave deliberate pauses into my system of working. Named after a tomato-shaped timer, because why not? This technique involves 25-minute focused work sessions, followed by a 5-minute break. This helps avoid the steep slope of diminishing returns of prolonged effort without rest. So next time you think about stretching your resources thin, remember the law of diminishing returns. It's like that ever-vigilant, slightly annoying but caring friend who always says, sometimes less is more. Well, speaking of working smarter, let's apply that thought to our risks. Next up on the list of mental models is the margin of safety. This one is your best friend when navigating the unpredictable labyrinth of life's decisions. This model boils down to a simple yet essential message. Always leave room for the unexpected. It's the difference between your perceived risk and the actual risk. The larger the gap, the safer you are. Let's dip into some real-world scenarios where the margin of safety saves the day. You know that spare tire in your car's trunk? Those 10 extra minutes you pad onto your commute time to avoid being late for work? Or that bridges are built to handle loads much higher than they'll ever carry? That's the margin of safety in action. Here are a couple of micro habits to incorporate the margin of safety in your daily life. 1. Next time you plan a commute, add 30% to your estimated travel time. That way, you're safe, even if you hit traffic or your ride-sharing app acts up. 2. Planning your monthly budget. Allocate a percentage for unexpected expenses. This way, an impromptu repair or medical expense won't topple your finances. If you don't end up using it, move it to your savings for the future, when something most definitely will go wrong at some point. Incorporating the margin of safety into your life is like buying an insurance policy against Murphy's Law. After all, anything that can go wrong will go wrong, and it's best to have a safety buffer when it does. Let's move to our next mental spectacle, multiplying by zero. Mathematics, the language of the universe, where nothing times anything is, well, nothing. Before you skip this video to avoid any traumatic flashbacks from high school algebra, know this. Multiplying by zero is less about math and more about risk and consequences. What it means is, no matter how minuscule the chances of a particular event, if the consequences of that event are catastrophic, then it's like multiplying by zero. In other words, if something goes really, really wrong, then all the small positive actions you've taken may not count. Those benefits are zeroed out. Let's say you're an excellent driver who hasn't had an accident in years. You follow all traffic rules, you never speed, and you've perfected the art of parallel parking. One day, you decide not to buckle up because you're just driving down to the local grocery store. Well, guess what? If you have an accident, that seatbelt could mean the difference between life and death. And all your driving skills won't count for much if you're not around to use them. So, how do you dodge this mathematical sucker punch in your daily life? Ask the zero question. Whenever you're about to make a decision, pause and ask yourself, is there a chance this could wipe out all my hard work? If the answer is yes, reconsider your move. This question can help with everyday safety habits like wearing a seatbelt, using hands-free devices while driving, or regularly backing up data. That brings us to the end of our exploratory voyage through the realm of mental models. Time for a quick-fire recap of the mental milestones we've achieved today. We've wrestled with the sunk cost fallacy, reminding ourselves that letting go can often be the wisest choice. Think about that outfit in your closet that you've never worn, but refused to donate because of what you paid for it. We've encountered the law of diminishing returns, learning that sometimes less is indeed more. Who wants 1,000 slices of pizza, right? At least not all in one go. Our journey then led us to the margin of safety, an essential friend in uncertain times. Think of it as the spare toilet paper roll you stash in the bathroom cabinet. You may not think about it often, but when things go south, it's your savior. So, always keep a buffer because life, like digestion, can be unpredictable. Lastly, we squared up by multiplying by 0, reminding us that a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Bravo, folks! We've reached the end of the last part of our series on mental models. Kudos for sticking with us. You've shown the tenacity of a honey badger digging into a termite mound, and we love that about you. Now you have 4 more brain boosters to add to your list of mental models, 4 new ways to guide your decision-making process. By the way, do you want a keepsake from this knowledge expedition? Well, you're in luck. All the illustrations from this video, which are handcrafted with love and a dash of insanity, are in the description box below. Consider them a free souvenir from our cerebral safari. From all of us here at Micro Matters, thank you for joining us on this intellectual quest. Without you, we're just voices in the digital wilderness. Smarter thinking, achieved. What's next? Lifelong learning.